supported also by, at that time, Mario Soares, who just finished being president in Portugal. That was quite a detailed and useful piece of work, but to use a kind of marine phrase, it seemed to sink without trace. And yet there's an awful lot of work that was done there, so I hope that there would be some rediscovery of work that's been done and perhaps let life follow. And now the time may be around to actually bring some of that back and use some of the material that was done there. That's just one observation. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good comments. Yes.
I'm glad that you brought up marine protected areas, and I think that that's one of these other content areas that we should really be aware of. There was a drive amongst natural scientists for a while, it seems to be not so prevalent now, to protect 20% of the ocean. That this was somewhere near the magic number for maintaining biodiversity. But again, echoing Louis' point, there's a potential in that for private incentive. There are models that suggest that marine protected areas, both from the tourism, the sustainable tourism potential, and from the fishing near protected area potential, are incredible. The economic incentive is fantastic, and that if private groups would take areas, it would be in their interest to block them off and protect them. There's a lot of concern around these discussions that we don't want to take what is currently a global resource and privatize it. But I wonder if we can't, as a group, think of a different framing whereby it maintains itself as a global resource while allowing these private incentives to have healthy benefits.
Yes, please.
Thank you. I'm Naoko Matsumoto. I'm working with AGIS. And I have a question regarding the selection of the natural science community that to work together. We've been working on the science policy interlinkage in the area of transboundary air pollution. And the issue that we really find include who among the scientists should we invite in the community. And what happens in the air pollution issue is that the scientists recommended by the national government don't seem to be really relevant, scholars from the viewpoint of the scientists in Japan. So in this case, I'd like to ask you what is the criteria you think is important in the selection of the scientists? That's the first question. And the second question is, it differs how many good natural scientists are in each country that is concerned. So how do you, but as in this kind of framework, the country representativeness is also very important, I think. So in this case, what's your view and what actually you're doing to address this issue is my second point. And the third point is, even if we have good natural scientists, it's really, really difficult. some, like, I think, I'm not really an expert on the marine system issue, but I'm sure that ecosystem is really complex, and sometimes it's very difficult to the social scientists to understand. That's what happens in the case of air pollution, that like we have so many different chemical reactions that we have to consider. So I think what we really need is some like expert mediators to bridge. And I really want to ask how you bridge the gaps in between. Thank you.
With the very focused questions, I think we should respond.
I'm not sure I have answers to all those questions, but I can say a little bit about your first question, which is the criteria for selection of scientists to be involved in addressing these issues. If we look back at the indicators, the sets of indicators that I showed that were thought to be important by the Global Environmental Facility International Waters Program, which covers a huge part of the planet's surface, their starting set of indicators, the one they've worked with up until very recently, is governance processes, but they divide that very narrowly as basically management level processes and decision making. Pressure indicators, in other words, are we changing the way that people are impacting the ocean and the state of the ocean, or the state of the systems? And that perception is really what has determined who gets chosen to take part in those activities, which scientists or which experts countries select to put forward. And now with the expanded or about to be expanded set of indicators, it calls for, and it will call attention to the need to have a much broader set of expertise. But I mean, up until recently, and still in many places, things to do with the ocean are perceived as being natural and physical science problems, not what we would consider to be governance problems. So, if that helps the other country representativeness. I'm not sure I can deal with that.
Clearly, we're at a very preliminary stage, but my sense so far, at least, is that we have not been thinking about country representativeness particularly. We have mainly, as Ruben suggested, been kind of operating within the larger framework of Future Earth and interacting with people in the natural science community who are associated with a variety of projects like the Land-Ocean Interactions in the Coastal Zone project, or IMBER, which is Integrated Marine Biogeochemistry.